Well, and welcome to the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast number 30, live but recorded from the Go Spurs Go Memes Network studio. I am your host, Ray. In studio with me today, Buddy, Frank, Sean, and Jack. Gentlemen, I hope you've had a wonderful week. I know here at Go Spurs Go Memes, we've had an amazing week. Our podcast has been so well received. We had some awesome guests this past week with Tom Petrini, the Boban enthusiast, and Paul Garcia from Project Spurs. We got so many retweets, so many comments, just tons of positive things. It was a bit overwhelming and very humbling. We've always said that we would do this podcast as long as it was fun for us, which has just been a blast for us. But it's pretty awesome to see that people are also enjoying hearing us talk about the Spurs and other silly, nerdy things. So I don't know, guys. I'm just so freaking happy to see so many people listening to us and having a good time and subscribing to us. And again, just the wonderful comments have just been awesome. But what's going on? I hope you guys had a wonderful week. I don't know. What's up with you, Sean? You doing good?
Yep.
Just simply, yep.
Simply, yep.
Got a new job. Everything's great. Love it. And it's good times.
Jack, how are you, my friend?
The tournament is here. I am in heaven. All is good in the world.
Other than the fact that our brackets
I was going to say
now.
the brackets have exploded. So, of course.
That's what they always do.
Right, it's true. It's
I was
very
hoping
true.
to make it at least to the second round without like all of my picks getting screwed.
There's a lot of basketball to be played.
Exactly.
What was the number? Like
everybody's getting screwed.
What was the number that was less than 1% this morning? We're screwed, right?
Oh yeah, like it was. Yeah, I mean the whole Michigan State thing today
It doesn't cost me money at least, so we're good.
So that's a good thing to bring up as well. Is we had a good amount of people join the Go Spurs Go Memes bracket challenge, so that's fantastic. Jack will go in detail with everything that's happening in NCAA basketball. Later in his segment, we will have a new segment today focusing on baseball. Mr. Sean will be covering that for us. But I think right now it's time for us to do the news. Thank you, buddy. You're so reliant on that typewriter. Thank you.
It's just like perfect every time.
Every single time you do it, it's amazing. So I think with the news, what we need to start off talking with is the news that kind of broke yesterday. We had it on the vertical with Wojo, Real GM had it up as well. So a lot of the NBA executives, I should say, are under the impression that the Spurs will be going after Kevin Durant this coming summer. As we all know, that is the big sweepstakes for everyone when it comes to free agency this summer. It's the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, and it looks like the Spurs are going to be part of that. I know that the reaction on Facebook and on Twitter by a lot of people were one of two things. They were either like, hell yes, KD, silver and black, he's coming, we got him, da-da-da-da. Then you had the other side of that. The people were like, there's no way in hell that's going to happen. We'd have to give up too much. It's not worth it. We don't need him. Blah, 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 blah.
So can I say, first of all, that my nipple tassels were going way off when I saw this, right? Because I was thinking to myself, if we can have this happen, this would be great. And, we really don't have to give up too much.
We don't have to give up too much. Not at all. I mean, I think
especially
we could
if the cap goes up, right?
Well, the cap is going to go up. The estimate was like 89 mil, and it's going to go up to like 91 mil. So it is already going up. But the big bump is going to be 2017, 2018, when it's just going to like freaking explode.
I can see Sean and Jack's face and just like disgust in this situation here.
I give it like less than 5% that's going to happen.
You have faith, sir.
I don't. You mean there's a chance? Yes.
There's a chance.
But I mean, nobody thought that we would get Aldridge. Nobody thought that we would be able to do it. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
No, you
did not.
Do not tell me that you
pull the tape, buddy. I called it.
Well, no, you didn't.
No, you did not.
Okay. Anyways,
I don't even think you knew who Aldridge was until before
exactly.
He changes my tire. Thank you. Nice gentleman.
Classy gentleman.
Sean was still waiting to see where Sean Kemp was deciding where he was going to sign.
I figured he was going to sign with one of the places he hasn't had kids at.
Oh, man.
So that's the big news right now. Everything else kind of pales in comparison to the Kevin Durant rumor.
That's a pretty big
Yeah, so we kind of looked up the Spurs cap space, what the situation is. Some players would have to be moved for us to make room for Durant, but I think that there is a way for us to make that money there to sign Durant if we wanted to, but we would have to give up a lot. Of course, if Duncan and Ginobili want to come back, we're looking at they'd have to do like vet minimums, not take up their player options. We'd probably have to get rid of Danny Green because Danny Green gets paid $10 million a year, so he'd probably have to go.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, and then I also think what we probably have to do is look at Patty Mills or Boris Diaw, look at their contracts, and probably have to boot them as well.
I could do without Diaw.
Well, I'm just like, it's Durant. Like, how could you not want a core of...
You're telling me I can't deal with Anderson just being there? I mean, I can deal with that.
Yeah, and then I think the other thing that we started hearing too was a lot of people like, well, there's no way they would go for Durant because we have Kawhi at that position, and they play the same position, so that wouldn't work. And I'm like, really, you wouldn't move Kawhi to the 2 and keep Durant to the 3?
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I agree with you. I think like legitimately the Spurs are going to try for him, but I mean, how could they not?
Right.
We've heard all the rumors about Golden State being the favorite.
And it could be just to keep him away from him.
Oh, yeah. And even if it is just to keep him away from Golden State, you got to do due diligence, just go for it. See if you can make it happen, gauge the interest, and see what the player wants to do. So I think it's legit. And then the other thing that was driving me crazy, a lot of people started saying yesterday, well, no, there's no way the Spurs would be doing that right now because we're focusing on the playoffs. Really? Because the NBA isn't, 365. People are always planning and looking at ways to make their franchise better. So just because we're about to go into the playoffs, there's no way in hell that we'd be looking at making moves during the summertime.
I'm in complete going for it mode. I mean, I don't understand why we wouldn't do it. Yes, we would have to give a lot, but it's just positive for us.
I just don't know why you wouldn't.
You're
want
talking
to do
about
it.
Getting the former MVP,
right?
I mean, I don't get it. Whoa. It seems like a no-brainer.
I agree with that. Let's see what else is going on. So Knicks president Phil Jackson and All-Star forward Carmelo Anthony held a closed-door meeting yesterday. Ooh.
Were there anybody else in there with them?
No. So hence the closed door, Sean.
I meant, was there any? Was he by himself? Excuse me.
So the big thing the big rumor that was going around this week was that Phil Jackson could possibly return to coaching. He would basically coach when they would be home.
Yeah.
And then Kurt Rambis would take over when they would go away. And Carmelo Anthony kind of came out opposed to that. He didn't like that idea.
Think about the selling point to this, right? So you're looking at your potential free agent and say, hey, look, this is the selling point for you. You're going to get coached by Phil Jackson, but only when you're here in New York. And when you're away, you're going to get Kurt Rambis.
The legendary
Kurt Rambis. Like, come on, really? Like, what world is that a good idea?
Yeah, I don't. The Knicks are just a mess, though. Let's see. The Clippers did sign Jeff Ayers to a deal for the remainder of the season. Of course, Ayers was a former Spur. The Kings are looking into trading center DeMarcus Cousins this coming summer, which we kind of called already with all the drama kind of going on there in Sacramento. Let's see what's going on. Lots of D-League signings between the Grizzlies, the Bucks, the Nets, Pelicans. Everyone's just trying to get the amount of players that they need on there, especially if they're going to be going into the playoffs. Let's see what else. Trey Wotton was signed by the New York Knicks, but now it doesn't look like he's going to be participating in any games or the season or practices at all.
Oh, you mean Tony Wotton?
Tony Wotton. What did I say?
Trey.
Okay. Well, Tony Wotton. Not that it really matters, but
Trey's brother Tony.
Trey,
it could
Trey
be
and
his brother.
Tony. Jeez.
Just want to make sure we're talking about the same
The
thing.
Grizzlies are interested in a free agent Jordan Farmer. Poor Grizzlies, like they're.
I feel bad
I
for
think
him.
they're gonna get Sean to play for them pretty soon.
No kidding, very, very soon because their
would've moved to
roster is just a
good
mess
point,
and a
too.
half, and everyone is just getting injured. It's just absolutely crazy what's happening with Memphis.
That's like the Pelicans at the beginning
And
of the
they're
year.
still going to make it into the playoffs,
Yeah,
too.
right now they're still in the playoff hunt.
Zebo, bro.
crazy.
Zebo.
Well, I think he's been hurt too. I don't even.
He
think,
has been. They've all the players have been hurt.
They're being led by Lance Stevenson right now.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
And he did pretty well the other night,
he
too.
did.
It's his time to shine. I mean, it's his last real shot, I think.
You're probably right. You're probably right, Sean. Yeah.
You're probably exactly
So the Sacramento Kings will likely fire head coach George Karl this summer.
Not
Man.
surprised.
Is that not a surprise?
It's
or-
not a surprise, but come on, I'm calling it fire Vladi. Like, you got to get rid of Vladi. That's where your problems are. It's not George Karl. It's not the players. It's Vladi.
Did you hear
They're
another
going to bring
part?
Seth Blatt.
Oh God! You mean David Blatt?
Yeah.
God, we're just great on the names today.
David and Seth Blatt. They're
Who's
twins.
Seth Blatt? It sounds familiar.
I think. Oh, that's the guy who's the soccer guy, right? Isn't his name?
That is
Seth
him.
Blatter. That's his
Seth
name.
Blatter.
Good job. Good job. Yeah, it's some weird name. Anyways, did you hear the other part of that story? The other part.
You gonna tell me more about
Yes.
Seth?
No, not Seth. About George Karl. that apparently one of the things is that he had actually alienated Nancy Lieberman, the woman's head coach. The assistant coach from that team. That apparently he thought that she was on the side of Vlade Divac, like he was a plant, and that she's been completely alienated by George Karl and the rest of the coaching staff and stuff like that, which is crazy when you think about that.
That's just nuts.
They probably just hate his ass.
Yeah. And then, of course, I think it was last night or the night before, Matt Barnes got into it with John Henson.
Chased him in the tunnel.
Exactly. I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me?
Matt Barnes is a psycho.
Yeah, he is.
I kind of like him.
But
I know, right? I did like him too.
So the NBA launched the investigation on it, and supposedly they both went to their respective locker rooms. So I'm like, was it just for show? What the hell was that?
They had to be let out by security guards from what I read in Twitter later after that.
See, I didn't see it when it happened. I just knew that it happened. But supposedly,
you see Henson walk off, and then right after the game, because it was right at the end of the game, you see Barnes just like beeline for that same like little tunnel, and I'm like, you already know something's gonna go down.
Oh, that's crazy. All right, guys. Well, that's the news. We'll be back in a bit. And we're back, and it's time to talk Spurs. So, of course, the big game on everybody's mind is tomorrow night, AT&T Center, 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Spurs, Warriors, Spurs undefeated home win streak on the line. The Warriors are chasing the Bulls, the 96 Bulls winning record. Something's going to give. Something's going to give tomorrow night.
They haven't won here in 33 straight games too. That's another thing.
It's just.
I see 34. Am I right, guys? Are we doing this?
It's going to be tough. It's not going to be a walk in the park.
It's not.
I'm sorry. It's just not going to be a walk in the park. So, we did have some Spurs games this past week, but I think the Spurs did well. They won all 4 games.
Which we were happy about, right?
We're happy about that.
4-1, we were going to be happy.
We were going to be happy about, but I know that deep down, what we're really focused on is tomorrow night's game. There were some times this week that it was kind of like, we could have lost some of those games. Like, Portland could have had us, a couple times there. They went away from Damian Lillard, which surprisingly, for some reason, I don't know why they did that. There were some points during the Clippers game.
That was the game that I thought we could get away from a season.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think that we're invincible.
No.
And tomorrow we are dealing with probably the best team that's in the NBA right now with the Golden State Warriors. They play amazing team ball. They're amazing shooters. And something's got to give tomorrow. So in my little assessment to Buddy earlier, I said one of two things has to happen either for the Spurs to beat the Warriors tomorrow. One, we either have to outscore them, score anywhere from like 130 to 140 points.
And has that happened this year?
No.
Exactly. Okay.
Or we have to keep the Warriors under 100 points.
Which is, that happened
Now,
this
that
year.
can happen.
That can happen. But the thing is, if we get into a game where we're scoring 120 points whatsoever, we're playing their game, it's game over for us. We're not going to outscore them.
No, we can't outscore them.
There's no way we can outscore them. I don't feel that way.
And we don't need to do that. I mean that's the thing.
It's not our game.
That's not our game. Exactly.
No, not at all.
I agree.
And then I think too, if Tony and Danny have horrible games, we'll be screwed there. Mm-hmm. If the team sucks at the 3-point line, which we kind of saw a little bit of that this past week, but then it started getting a little bit better.
It starts getting better at the end of the games. If you notice that, like at the beginning of the games, they're pretty bad.
And that's a key concern there, because if the Spurs start off very, very slow, Golden State will build a lead. We'll completely dig ourselves into a hole, and we won't be able to come back from that.
Are we in agreement with this? Okay, Sean and Jack haven't said anything. So we're both in Ray and I are in agreement here.
All right, I'll say this much. If you look at the games that Golden State's lost this year, Milwaukee, Portland actually came to play, but it's
Dallas.
Nobody super strong. It's not the Spurs.
Right.
It's not Cleveland. They're beating.
Which proves that they get up for these games.
No, they totally
that's
do.
a big
Which
thing.
is really not good for us.
That is a bad sign. You're correct.
I'm only going to say that I'm hoping Golden State's going to be a little tired after tonight. They only shot 58% from 3-point tonight.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Only 58%.
They shot more. They shot better from 3 than they did from 2.
Oh, that's just fantastic. I love that. Yeah, they shot.
so
What are they?
sad.
God bless
So
it.
bad.
Thompson
Jack?
had 39 in this game. Sweet Jesus.
Jack?
Jack,
go ahead.
Actually, I think you just hit the nail on the head. That's the only way the Spurs have a chance.
Right.
Is Golden State comes out tired.
Right. They come out tired
I'd love to know
and
the
they
stats
come
of
out
their
struggling
back-to-backs.
shooting.
What's their stats of their back-to-backs?
That's a pretty good thing. Can you look that up, Jack?
Give me like 5 minutes.
You know, the one thing is that I really don't think. I think we get caught in this thing like, well, we have to sort of affect them in order for them to do anything badly. But I think that really we got to sort of hope that they shoot badly. In the games that they've lost, like the Lakers game is a good example of this, right? Curry played really badly in that
Yeah.
game.
He was terrible.
He couldn't hit a three-pointer. I think they were 2 for 22 and threes in that game. So a lot of that had to do with them as far as like their overall like play and stuff like that. So we have to also hope for some of these kind of games to come around too. And eventually we're going to catch that. I always believe that you live and die by a three.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that this team relies very, very heavily on an outside shot. And the outside shot is the most, in reality, the biggest, luckiest shot that you can do in the game. So if you're going to run into these times when you just can't make an outside shot.
See, and that's where I differ with you, buddy, because we said it last week. You know, you kind of said the team lives by the three, but I've always felt that they live by the open shot, and they get tons of open shots. They're so good at the screens. They're so good at passing the ball, and it's all those open shots that they're hitting that whether it's a 3 or a 2, they're just scoring.
Well, and you look at Steph Curry, he's free, 6 feet behind the three-point line, and that's where he's starting to shoot. You've noticed it more and more as the season progresses, and he hits them, which makes it even...
Which is exactly
that much more
why
frustrating.
which is exactly why
Why?
Cuban wants to extend the 3-point line because of Curry and his amazing shot. Because I mean, it really is. He's just
have
so.
we seen anybody remotely good, this good at threes?
No.
Not anything.
Now, here's a good thing for us. One guy who's not playing in that game who always gives us problems, Iguodala. Iguodala's not going to be playing in this game. He's going to be out this game. And I think that bodes well for us because he is a problematic guy for us. He's
Yes.
always been somebody who can like score at least 15 to 20 points every game that he comes in there, and he gives us a matchup problem for some reason or another. Mind you, the whole Warriors are a whole matchup nightmare.
Right.
But in reality, he's a big, big catalyst for them, especially off the bench.
Right.
So
and then Bogut was injured tonight. He hurt his big toe, so he left the Dallas game.
he only played 9 minutes.
Yeah, so we'll actually
Bogus
see
big toe.
Bogus big toe. So we'll see if he actually plays tomorrow night against the Spurs.
Remember, that guy Spates is coming around, and man,
Yeah.
that guy's he can hit threes. I'm like, really? Come on,
Yeah.
another guy who can hit threes.
You got stuff for us, Jack?
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead,
so just going through their schedule real quick, the Warriors have actually won both games of double-doubles, or of back-to-backs, 13 times. They actually have lost the first game 3 times, but only lost the second game once.
Jack. Oh,
I think Jack's saying we're due.
Let's hope we can make that nice.
And that, I mean, that the one loss.
that sounds like
the,
a
the
challenge.
one loss on the second game was after the double overtime when they had at Boston, and then they lost at Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yep, remember that.
That was the
That's just
that was the
crazy.
beginning of a road trip too. If I'm
That
not
was
mistaken.
actually that was their first loss.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
no,
that's right.
that was kind of a middle of a road trip.
Yeah, you know what would be absolutely amazing is if tomorrow morning Pop announces that he's just going to rest Kawhi.
I thought about that. I did think about that. I was like,
Start Bonner.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd
yeah,
be
let's
freaking amazing.
God,
What if Steve Kerr does the same thing?
That's very possible. Why not?
How great! I'll take the win.
Man,
Talk about like
What-
a
what
chess
if-
game.
would
like
you
just-
imagine?
Here's the thing to say screw you NBA.
Yep.
What if they both do it?
oh, that's what that'd be. Oh,
I think
Mind
Pop
blown,
and
Jack.
I think Pop and Kerr would high five each other and be like, "So what?
The
Look who's in
Papa-Kerr.
control."
And everyone that spent $1,000 on tickets is going to be.
no, man, I know. I know the tickets are insane. The
They are
tickets- they're-
absolutely
how much?
insane.
How much percentage over? They're like 200% at least.
Oh
more,
well,
right?
I mean, nosebleeds are like $250 already.
it's like
If you want
crazy.
any lower level, you're looking like anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a seat. Like it's absolutely insane. And I want to say, the HEB fan zone, like standing room only, is about $250. Like that's where you get no seat. You're just standing there.
StubHub has
Uh-oh.
765 tickets left. Standing
because
room.
nobody's spending $500.
Well, because
Standing
everybody
room-
wants to make money. That's why.
Yeah. Standing room tickets. The cheapest ticket you can get is $154.91.
Ray,
Hey, that's a deal right there.
I need some petty
154.
cash, Ray.
The cheapest seat is balcony 20th row, well maybe 13th row for $275.
Oh my God,
Jeez,
that
that's
is
crazy.
insane, man.
It's like the Beatles are performing.
Biggest or cheapest lower level seat is $430.
That's just insane.
Well, I'm not going to that game. I
Yeah,
guess.
no kidding.
I will be watching that.
I mean, would I want to drop $1,000 a seat when I can just be at home and
right,
you know?
just watching them in the comfort of my home.
I had tickets. I sold them for face value. I didn't need the money.
There was like several guys at my job that they had season tickets, and they only bought them because they knew they were going to be able to sell this game in particular and the next game in April, and they
Right.
get their money back just like that.
That's just
I had a buddy.
I know a
really?
bunch of guys that do that.
I had a buddy that had lower level during the Spurs 7 game when they won the championship against Detroit. They sold their 7-game lower level, made enough money, bought upper level tickets, and still had enough to pay for the whole next year's season.
That's amazing.
It's genius right there.
We're in
That's
the
how
wrong
you do business.
We're in the
It's
wrong
true.
business, sir.
Anyways, that Spurs discussion. We'll be back in a bit.
Hey guys, it's Clay here with the Go Spurs Go Memes podcast. I'm your correspondent on the street for Spurs in the City. Listen, big news out of the Spurs Sports and Entertainment Camp this week. Peter Holt, CEO and chairman of the San Antonio Spurs organization, is retiring. He's turning over the reins to Juliana Hahn Holt. This is huge. Peter has been at the helm of the San Antonio Spurs for many, many years. So I got to wondering, what do some Spurs fans think about Peter Holt's retirement? And if they could run a company, which one would it be and how would they run it? Let's find out on this week's Spurs in the City. You become the owner. Excuse me, miss. Excuse me, miss. No, stop. Please stop running, miss. Miss, hi. What's your name?
It's Danielle.
Oh, you don't look like a Danielle. Danielle, did you hear that the Spurs owner is retiring?
I just did.
You did? Who told you?
You did just now.
That's true. Now, if he was been an owner for a long time, what are your first reactions to his retirement? Do you know anything about him?
I sure don't.
Yeah, you didn't look like you did. If you could run a company, Danielle, which one would it be, and how would you run it?
I would run Cold Stone and
The creamery?
Oh yeah, for sure. And
What are their ice cream sizes again? Is it like gotta have it? What is it?
love it, like it, gotta have it.
Love it, like it, gotta have it. So what would you do differently at the old Cold Stone Creamery?
I would make sure that the sample spoons were a full size spoon.
Oh, so you want to go? That's a lot of ice cream. That's probably why you don't run the ice cream
Probably.
company. You're gonna make more fat people like me. Well, thank you, Danielle. Here with what's your name?
Whitney.
Whitney, if you could own a company, by the way, Peter Holt is retiring from the Spurs. I'm sure you heard that. Anyway, if you could own a company, which company would it be, and how would you run it differently?
I have to think about it.
You can't think. This is like on the fly segment. What would you own?
I don't know. Some clothes store company, I guess.
Clothes store. That's not a word.
I don't know.
Forget it. I'm walking away. Oh, you sir. Hi. What's your name?
Federico.
Oh, Federico. You look like a Federico. Hey, you actually look kind of like a Cuban drug lord.
I've been told that.
Hey, listen, if you could own... By the way, did you hear that Spurs owner Peter Holt is retiring?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, he's going away. I don't know what's wrong with him, but
I think it's like the whole Becky Hammond's doing well as a coach, and so they want to get a female to run the organization to show
You're
that women are able to do the same job. It happened to fall on Women's Independence Day.
did it really? So it's like they're taking over.
Like aliens.
I heard about this in the vagina monologues.
Yes.
Hey, if you could own a company, Federico, what would it be, and how would you run it differently than it's run today?
If I could own a company, I would own and run a hotel line.
A hotel line.
Yeah, instead of Trump, we'd call it Triumph.
Like the dog.
And then I would run it, literally run it.
So it'd be a moving hotel chain.
It would, yes.
You have terrible ideas, Federico.
Well, that's why I'm not a businessman.
Okay. Spurs fan from Corpus, even though he's wearing a Houston Astros hat. Hey, what's your name?
Tim.
Okay. Hey, Tim, did you hear the Spurs owner, Peter Holt, is retiring? He turned over the Spurs Sports Entertainment to Juliana Hahn Holt, his wife. If you could own a company, any company in the world, what would it be, and what would you do differently that the company isn't doing today? Who would it be?
I would own Caterpillar.
Is that an insect? Oh, you're talking about the tractors.
I am talking about the tractor.
Did you know that Peter Holt owns Holt Tractors?
Right, I knew that.
So you would own Caterpillar.
Right.
And what would you do differently with Caterpillar?
I would use a different logo. I don't really like caterpillars.
Oh, so you want the logo to look like a caterpillar and not just the yellow?
No.
You would take them through a metamorphosis.
Exactly.
That is the worst idea. This is why you don't own them. What about you, man? What's your name? Hang on, I'm gonna come over here. No, don't say no to me. Come over here. Don't stop running away. Hang up on your love. What's your name?
Yo mama.
Oh, you both said it. Okay, yo mama. She did say yo mama. If you could own a company, what would it be, and what would you do differently with that company? Any company in the world.
Playboy Mansion.
Playboy Mansion is not a company, sir.
I don't know.
Any company. Apple, Google, Dolce & Gabbana.
I would own Apple. I would definitely own Apple. And then what I would do is I would get all the Apple phones and convert them to Android because Android is the best, phone right now in the world.
I think he's been hitting the head too many times, everybody. What are you, ma'am? Don't listen to this nut job over here that wants to change Caterpillar.
And that iWatch is a piece of crap.
I don't have an iWatch.
I'm just letting you know it should be iCrap.
They have an app for that. Lets you know when you're going. What company, ma'am?
Samsung for life. Samsung.
Oh, this guy will not leave me alone with the phone thing.
I have no idea.
Make up a company.
Busted Sandal.
You would own Busted Sandal Company. What would your company motto be?
Fix the sandal.
I would fix it.
So you'd be a cobbler.
How is that?
Cobbling people that, oh my God, I need to get out of here. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you can see, Spurs fans, there's a lot of people with some horrible, terrible, really bad ideas on how to lead a company. But you know who didn't have bad ideas? That was Peter Holt. So on behalf of all the Go Spurs, Go Memes listeners and everyone I met on the streets with Spurs in the city, thank you, Mr. Peter Holt, for your years of dedicated service to the Spurs sports and entertainment family. You led the San Antonio Spurs to 5 NBA championships and 6 trips to the NBA Finals. You should be extremely proud of your transition to the AT&T Center, creating a brand new dynasty that San Antonians can be proud of. I'm sure the Holts will still be super involved in the community. Even though Peter won't be in the boardroom, he's still staying with Spurs Sports and Entertainment. So those great ideas will keep flowing. For now, Clay signing off from the streets with Spurs in the City, sending it back to the guys in studio. Gentlemen, what do you know? I'll tell you what, folks, it's not much. Anyway, go Spurs, go!
And that music means that it's time to talk NCAA basketball. March Madness has begun, and brackets have already gone kaboom. Jack, what is going on in the wonderful world that is March Madness?
It is that beautiful time of year. It's only 160 days till football, but now we're talking basketball. So some people got kind of pissed off. I'm
not mad, just bitter.
Man, I've been dying laughing at everyone that just pretty much jumped the boat when Michigan State lost earlier. So earlier today, Michigan State lost to Middle Tennessee 90-81. And I think it was something crazy like 91% of brackets had Michigan State at least going to like the Sweet 16.
Yep.
Right? It was something crazy like that. It's
and it wasn't even like a close game. Like Middle Tennessee,
they were ahead and they stayed ahead.
They stayed ahead.
They led the whole game. Like, it was absolutely crazy. So, first, I guess we'll talk about the bracket challenge, the ESPN tournament challenge that we're doing. Congrats. We had actually a guy who was up for most of the day, and he just got dethroned.
Ooh, who's in first round?
So congratulations to the new guy in first place at the end of the first round, Dan MCQU.
All right, Dan.
Dan McQueen.
Good job for him. Josiah Binks is the guy that I was talking about for a while. We've also got George Brett, 1985, Norb 5555, AB Football 12, and DHAJDUK.
Whoa.
Jaduk, 24.
Yeah, well, I gotta admit, my favorite thing, if you go scroll all the way down to the person that's in last place, that person has the best screen name.
Oh, man, I gotta go look at that now.
His screen name is Ginobili's Lost Nut.
That's a good one.
We have a prize.
Yeah, we have a prize for him.
Good
so
stuff.
yeah,
Should have made one for the best name.
We just did, buddy.
We just did.
He just
buddy.
won? He just won
Yes.
automatically?
We were doing that. I had already told
Who's
Jack
going to
that.
compete with that?
That's a good point.
Get with the program, buddy. Jeez.
That's a very good
So for those of you that are freaking out because you had every single upset or you didn't pick every single upset, just to let you know the way the scoring works, if you're not sure, every game this round was 10 points. Every game next round goes to 20 points.
Ooh.
Every game after that goes to 40 points and then 80 points and on until the final game is worth 320 points.
Yes.
So I have a chance.
So
you're saying
no
there's a
one's out. Y'all saying that you don't have a chance. It's
I
like,
see I only have 20 points for the next one already, so that sucks.
Good stuff. So, actually about the tournament, there was some controversy about, the teams that were chosen. My favorite team that didn't get in was Monmouth.
Agreed.
Monmouth.
I was kind of sad. I was a little surprised. The Pac-12, the Big 12, and the Big 10 all got 7 teams in, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Now that we've gotten through the first round, 5 of those 7 Pac-12 teams have lost.
Because they suck.
Only Utah and Oregon won. The Big 12 is actually 3-4, which I was sad to see Texas lose.
I was really hoping for an A&M
only for the
Texas.
fact that I wanted to see A&M.
Yeah, that
whoop
would have
their
been really
ass.
good.
But they're goodbye. Half court shot.
Yeah,
That we just saw it here at the studios on our big screen TV.
Hey, shockingly enough, I picked Northern Iowa. I just looked at that.
Did you really? Yeah. That's pretty funny.
I just looked at that.
Dreams do come true, buddy.
That's it. There you go. I'm moving up in the
So
world.
Northern Iowa won 75-72 over Texas. Some other upsets. Well, I mean,
you actually had 14 lower seeds win.
Yay.
so awesome.
All,
amazing.
3 of the 4 9 seeds beat the 8 seeds, which those are always kind of coin
Iffy.
flips. But you had Hawaii win their first ever NCAA
yeah,
tournament
they beat
game.
Cal, right?
Yep. You had Wichita State over Arizona, which actually I just saw a tip. The last time an 11 seed was a double-digit underdog against a 3 seed, the 11 seed won.
Wow.
It was actually 2010. Although I don't remember the team.
And we got to give a shout out to the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin.
True that.
Who beat up on
That
the
guy looked
West
like a
Virginia.
leprechaun, man.
He did look
He reminded me
look
of
like a
Sheamus,
leprechaun.
man. The Sheamus the wrestler. That's what he looked like. That's what he
So
looked like.
Stephen F. Austin won 70-56 over West Virginia. We did the Michigan State, Middle Tennessee.
Had VCU, Oregon State.
That was a good game.
Good stuff. You did have Yale over Baylor,
Yeah.
which I think was probably.
Oh, yes, forgot about
You
that
did
one.
not have Yale.
No, I said I forgot about that one.
No, like you did not have Yale.
I had Yale.
I had
Did you
Yale
really
too.
have Yale?
I
I
had
did
Yale
have Yale.
too. That was the only good one that I had.
Although I think probably the best quote of the tournament so far came from a Baylor player.
The Baylor guy.
Can you play? Can you play the clip?
Yeah, we'll
All
play
right.
the clip.
How does Yale out-rebound Baylor? You go up and grab the ball off the rim when it comes off, and then you grab it with 2 hands, and you come down with it, and that's considered a rebound. So they got more of those than we did.
I like that
That's
guy.
I played basketball through junior high and high school and stuff, and that's the best definition of a rebound I've ever heard.
Tarian Prince. That's his name.
And if you didn't know,
Senior, right?
Baylor was definitely the bigger team. They were the more experienced team probably. But
All those one-handed rebounds came back to bite them.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think we got some good matchups coming up this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. We're not going to see the A&M Texas game, but I think OU and VCU.
That's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to Oregon and St. Joe's. I think St. Joe's might have the.
That might be a good game too.
Might have the upset. You got Maryland, who I know Maryland was your team, Sean.
Yeah, what's his name? Rock Turquoise. What's the guy you like?
Diamond Stone.
That guy too.
Rock Turquoise.
Did you like that? Did you like that, buddy? Rock
awesome.
Turquoise.
That's his cousin.
I think the Kansas UConn game is going to be interesting.
I think so too. UConn
UConn always
coming
comes
back.
out
Yep.
this time.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Another upset we didn't talk about, UALR, University of Arkansas Little Rock. I did go to school for a year. Mm-hmm. That was good stuff. They beat Purdue, and I think they've got a chance against Iowa State.
I think they have a better than a chance, man. I would pick them to win.
Iowa State has an excellent offense, though. So
yeah, but they've been crumbling the last couple of weeks, too. We'll see.
Does Middle Tennessee have a chance against Syracuse?
No.
I think so.
I think so.
No.
Why not?
I do. I totally think so.
I'm just going to go out on a limb saying no.
Good to know.
It's excellent reporting by you. Let's move on.
Here's my question of the day.
Okay.
After we've talked about these, 14 upsets, great basketball yesterday, today, another weekend of great basketball.
Yep.
Is the NCAA basketball tournament the best postseason tournament in all of sports?
Yes. Without a doubt.
Unless they expand the football one, the NCAA football one.
If they expanded,
then
yes, I think that one could be really awesome.
I think this is better just because you really can have a Cinderella team win. Because if you have 5 reasonably talented players, in basketball,
Sean brings up a very good point. Because if let's say you put UTSA in a bracket up against Alabama, more than likely there's not going to be much of a chance that UTSA is going to beat Bama when it comes to football. That's what I'm talking about.
But there's a chance.
But there's a chance that in basketball, there's a chance they could beat them.
Well, and I think the thing that I like most about the NCAA tournament for basketball,
just an example, buddy.
Sorry. Every single team in Division I basketball has a shot.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Everybody's equal.
Up until this year, the Ivy League was actually the only conference that did not play a tournament, and then they announced that starting next year they will play a 4-team tournament. So now almost every team has a chance to make the tournament, and then all you got to do is win 6 games.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
Gotta prove yourself.
Gotta love it.
Gotta prove yourself against the best.
Anyways, we will follow up on how everybody's doing on next week's podcast. When's the Final Four, Jack? I don't even know when the dates are.
First week of April.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
All right, very, very cool.
Actually, did you want to tell everyone? Just because I don't think that ESPN will actually allow us to contact individual folks.
Good point. All right.
So if you entered the bracket challenge, and you have your bracket, go ahead and send an email to GoSpursGoMemes@gmail.com. Just let us know your bracket name, your name, and then your email address. So if perchance you do win a prize, and I think do we have the information on the prizes yet?
Not yet.
All right,
but we will have that very, very soon.
Just so we can contact you and you can win your prize.
That's right. All right, guys, that's NCAA basketball. We'll be back in a bit. Now that music is Sean's intro music because starting today, I don't know what but it's so Sean. But that music is going to be your intro music, Sean, because now you're going to be covering baseball for us.
That's right.
So spring training, I'm assuming, has started.
Spring training has started. It is in full effect. The 2 big spring training areas, of course, if you're unfamiliar with baseball, is going to be located in Arizona and Florida, which is very popular. This is 2 of the more notable areas that didn't have any teams for a long time. Diamondbacks, of course, went to Arizona once they built up a base, started their franchise out of that. And Florida, the Marlins, Jack? Outside of... really, there wasn't any big baseball down there for a long time, and then you had the Florida Marlins, and then you had the Tampa Bay Rays go in.
Yep.
And they were too.
I forgot Tampa Bay had a team.
You know what? So did Tampa Bay for 20 years.
I was gonna say
But in this segment, we're going to concentrate mostly on the Texas teams. We have 2. They're in the same division. We have the Texas Rangers, who are the AL West division winners from last year.
And they're in San Antonio today.
And they are in San Antonio, which I believe they won in a walk-off home run against Kansas City. So congratulations, Rangers, on a
let's go Rangers
on a preseason win.
Woo!
Stack them up. All right, so we'll start with the Rangers. As everybody knows, they did win the division last year. they're going to try, of course, to repeat again this year. Their big offseason move was getting Ian Desmond from the Washington Nationals. Now, for those of you who don't know, Desmond actually gave up on 2 different contracts in the last 3 years because he was going to cash in on himself real big. Well, unfortunately, Desmond batted a real nice 240 last year and unfortunately didn't get a lot of nibbles. In fact, he had, I believe, a $17 million guaranteed contract that he could have just signed an extension to 2 years ago, didn't do it, and I want to say he ended up signing like a $5.5 million this past offseason.
Wow.
And the Rangers had to give up a first-round conditional draft pick, which they did. So Ian Desmond, instead of playing shortstop at any great team, which he is a good hitting shortstop historically, he has now been moved to left field, which is also known as, hey, you're kind of fat, but you can hit, so we're going to throw you out there.
Babe Ruth treatment.
Pretty much. And so, but outside of that, you're looking at the Rangers' depth. They actually have great depth, as they did last year. You look at their starting pitching, they're going to have Cole Hamels. Looking at Yu Darvish coming back. Colby Lewis should be coming back. He was on the injured list a good amount of time last year. And Derek Holland. That's your first 4. That's a pretty good first 4. And that's just in my opinion. Relief pitchers, not as strong as they've had in recent past, but there's still some talent there. Sam Dyson's going to get the majority of the work. And, of course, their closer, Sean Tolleson, I believe is how you pronounce it. Decent, reliable. We'll see what happens. Where they really shine is when it comes to their bats. You look at their designated hitters, they have Prince Fielder, who is the fastest fat man that's ever played a sport, including Shaquille O'Neal. He's actually hit multiple inside the park home runs, which if you haven't looked him up, it's pretty impressive because that jello jiggles the whole way he's running out.
What about Bam Bam Bigelow? He was pretty fast.
He was pretty fast.
Especially when he went in for his final move.
Right? The headbutt?
The headbutt.
Yeah. Headbutt off the top.
I was thinking about the somersault.
He did.
Oh, he did do that, yes.
What about the Santon Bomb? All right, so we have him. And, Prince Fielder's not feeling up to it, or if he's had too many Captain Crunch bowls, we have still Hamilton coming up as the behind designated hitter as a replacement. They also have Sin-Shu Chu, DeShields, and Desmond in the outfield. They're looking pretty stacked. Moreland, first baseman, he had a strong power in the beginning of the season, kind of tapered off a little bit. But that's enough about those Rangers up north. Let's talk about our friends to the east, the Houston Astros.
The Stros.
Which I was at opening day last year, and I had a conversation with my dad. He goes, "Do you think they're going to win this game?" I go, "No." They ended up winning. He goes, "Well, that's pretty nice." Because we always a bunch of the guys in our family always try to go to opening day of the Astros. Always have a good time. They usually always lose, but hey, it's opening day. Anything can happen, and that's what happened last year. Anything did happen. They actually almost won the division. I think they only lost it by a game from the Rangers. But they led the division, I believe, the longest out of any other team that was a division winner last year. Coming back for them, we have Altuve at second base. Fantastic second baseman. He's also 5'7", which is hilarious to see out there because he'll stand up on the base and still be shorter than whoever's on second. We have Carlos Correa, last year's outstanding rookie. He's going to be coming back. He looks to be a 5-tool player. Some people are comparing him to a young A-Rod already.
Ooh.
So that's always great. Outfield looks even stronger. Jordan Springer, he's coming back. He had a bad shoulder injury. He should be back. He's looking strong as can be. Carlos Gomez, it was our trade last year with Milwaukee. He looks great again. And Kobe Rasmus, he's a little long-haired. He loves CCR. If you just look at him, he's going to love that song. Just letting you know. Or Fogerty. So he's a good guy.
Somebody's going to recognize him.
Now, hey, I bet he mows the lawn to that song. I'm just saying. Great guy. And then we also have Valbuena. Valbuena didn't hit really well for average, but he knocked the snot out of that ball. He would hit a lot of double-deckers out in the outfield, and it was actually pretty impressive to see.
Nice.
They did give a big offseason trade. They got Ken Giles from Philadelphia, who was their main closer. But if you know anything about Philadelphia last year, he was the only shining star in that organization. So we're really happy to have him with the Astros. I speak on the behalf of the Astros. Welcome.
Last year's very appreciative.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Hey, get ready to see how many downloads we get this week, boys.
Yes.
We got Luke Gregerson was our closer last year. He's now going to be moving to the setup role, which is not bad. Previous closers moving to the setup role is never a bad thing, especially if something were to happen to Ken Giles. Gregerson has experience. I want to say he had 34 saves last year, so he'll come in and kill it. And, of course, we have Evan Gattis, which if you throw anything by his beard, he will knock it out of the park. People try to throw fastballs up and at him. He just looks at him and stares him down, just knocks it out of there.
Nice.
I love him. You would like him, Captain Caveman-esque. But he's a good guy. But that's the news that we have talking about those two teams. Of course, we're going to be talking about them later on in the year. We're going to be going through the series and everything else. But the one thing Jack and I were actually discussing earlier had to do with the recent LaRoche scandal going on in the Chicago White Sox, where actually he retired because his kid couldn't play in the clubhouse anymore, which has only escalated slowly but surely. And now there's coming other players. Chris Sale, one of their pitchers, who's actually a very good pitcher, he came out and said, yeah, I don't know where our GM came up with this. I think this is all him, because we're all okay with having the kids there. You're having other players say, we have been wanting to bring our family in, but since this happened, we don't feel comfortable with having any of our family there.
Ouch.
Well, now the owner's starting to get involved, and it's only getting messier from here. Jack, did I leave out any juicy gossip out of that bad boy?
Well, I mean, I think the weird part. So LaRoche, he's a veteran. He's been around. He's made his money.
Yeah.
And yes, he walked away from $13 million.
Wow.
And
That's a lot.
I've been sitting here the whole time you've been talking, trying to find out what exactly the wording in his contract, because it wasn't his contract that his kids could be around.
Yeah.
And, the clubhouse had embraced his kids. He had his own uniform. He had his own locker. He was around all the time. And, but I also get, from a management perspective of, okay, yeah, it's one guy.
Yeah.
But what if everybody wants? They talked about another guy who had like 5 kids, all under the age of 7.
Right.
What if all of them want to go?
Sean Kemp played baseball?
Yeah.
What, too soon? Too soon?
Wow, that was a burn.
Thank you.
Here's another thing to bring up, too. LaRoche, okay, so we just bought into this. He's $13 million, right?
Yep.
He was like their worst player last year, right? He hit 202 last year. He had great 13 homers, but he hit 202, had one of the worst on-base percentages out of anybody in the league. So if you're saying to yourself, okay, look, we need this guy to recommit and make sure that he's actually completely focused on the game, I don't think it's completely out of the realm to think that, okay, maybe the kid's causing a little bit of a distraction.
Well, no, I mean, I want to say LaRoche was with the Nationals last year, too. So this is a brand new team. He signed a couple multi-month deal, multi-year deal. So we'll see. I mean, he didn't sound like he had an over amount of investment into it. And they were like, oh, you're not going to like my kid? Okay, fine, I'm out. So they got rid of him. But you know what, guys? Opening day is just a couple weeks away. I'm excited. I believe Jack's excited.
And LaRoche is gone.
And LaRoche is gone. What are you going to do? We're all excited. Baseball season's around the corner.
Thank you so much, Sean, for putting that all together. We'll be back with crazy stories in just a bit. And now it's time to enter the three-ring circus known as Crazy Stories of the Week. We got a couple of doozies for you. Buddy, you want to start us off?
Well, we've got 2 this week.
We got 2, yes.
I know, we usually only have 1, but this time we got 2 because they're so juicy. So, first one is, and I'll read the headline to you guys. Richard Simmons may or may not be currently being held hostage by his maid.
I love that so much.
God, it's like, how could you not have a better title than that, right? That's the thing.
So he's gone missing, right? Like none of his family and friends have seen him.
Well, it wasn't so much that, right? It was that apparently the story goes is, and I'll just read this. This is the actual just paragraph. It'll say, this is a story that features a number of colorful characters. Mauro Oliveira, a Brazilian orphan who grew up to be a masseuse and confidant to the rich and powerful Simmons. Simmons' mysterious brother Lenny, who proves to be a slap happy. Lenny. I love the funniest name ever.
Richard and
Lenny.
Who proves to be the pretty slap happy when it comes to restraining orders. And Teresa Revels, the maid in question, and who Oliveira accuses of being an actual witch. And then there's Simmons himself, who disappeared from the public eye in 2014. So apparently they went to his front door and they were worried about him, and then they went to go figure out, hey, look, we haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? And that apparently the maid came to the door and said, look, you can't come and talk to him, so go away. And they slammed the door on the person.
I mean, the guy could be dead, and she's just, having his body
He's
there.
not dead. They found out that he wasn't dead.
Oh,
but
okay.
how in the world did we even get to this place? That's what I don't get.
It sounds like a Shakespearean play.
All right, so if any TV channel were to do a movie
it's
based
going to
on
be
this story,
the E channel's
you
starting.
think?
Yeah, E's going to start doing a live series about.
see,
that.
I think it could be E or it could be
FX.
Lifetime.
FXX.
FXX.
That one's just one that just does not need to be made. This is a pretty stupid story.
It
and I
really
just
is.
want to move on from this one because we're going to get to the really good one.
Okay, so the really good one is the news that broke this evening that Hulk Hogan had won his lawsuit. Hulk is $111 million. $115 million richer because he did sue Gawker for releasing the porno tape of him with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife, Heather.
Heather Clem.
Heather Clem, yes. Which is a messed up situation there because Bubba and...
He's the one who recorded it.
Yeah, and Bubba was into that, though. And if you've ever listened to Bubba the Love Sponge's show, when he was on Sirius XM and then he was on radios in the Tampa Bay area, his show is pretty freaking crazy. So it did not surprise me one bit that he was into having his wife filmed with other men. Like that was basically Bubba. And I wouldn't have been surprised if that was a bit on his radio show either.
Who was also super smoking hot.
Right.
Heather
Clem was, she was a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. And this was right after Hulk Hogan got the divorce from his wife. So it was, I would say there was a low point in Hulk's life as well. So they did do this whole film recorded
4 minutes apparently.
Film
A Night in Hulkamania. And then
even Sean had play-by-play from what I heard.
Oh, do you want me to pull up the audio on that?
No, no.
We can.
Well, we have the audio.
we have the audio.
We'll leave them the other version.
I can. Anyways, so he won the lawsuit. So goodbye Gawker is what I'm thinking.
Well, here's the other crazy thing about this, right? So they're going to go in next week on Monday, right? And they're going to reconvene to consider punitive damage on top of the 115 that he's already going to be awarded for that. So they're giving him $55 million for economic injuries and $60 million for emotional distress.
My question is, does Gawker have that money to actually pay him?
Apparently, the guy who founded it, he actually sold his stake in the business in order to actually make sure that they had some kind of money to back it up. So apparently they can survive it or something.
Wow.
But it's still going to hurt either way, though.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy.
So they only showed 1 minute and 41 seconds of the tape.
What are you trying to say, Jack?
The company says that it made about $11,000.
Hulk's not as strong as he used to be.
So they're having to pay over $1 million a second.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
That might be the most expensive tape ever.
I don't know.
Hulk's worth it, man. He's an icon.
Kim K's getting a lot of money, though.
Tell that to Vince.
Well, yeah. You see, that's a good point, too, buddy, is Kim K did make a lot of money off
and
of her
what makes
tape,
me
too.
mad about this in a lot of ways is that there is some points to the point of First Amendment rights here, right? So if this video was made by some other guy, they get a hold of this tape, right? Which somehow or another ended up in the part, and mind you, Gawker finds these things, right?
Right.
Why exactly are they being held liable because Hulk Hogan, of all people, has a problem with this? I don't get that to me. And, the other thing is that at what point, like, for instance, let's just say we make a sex tape of Jack, which would never, ever happen.
I thought Frank has one of you, buddy. Is that not true?
No, that's not true.
Okay.
It wouldn't be as popular as the Hulk Hogan
It definitely would not be as popular. We wouldn't even be in this situation. But let's just say if they made
I'd
one
watch
of Jack. Would the courts or anything else care if Jack sued me for that kind of thing and if it was put out in public? No.
Well, no, because...
It's because he's a public figure and he has money and he has power.
Well, no.
And
I
that's one of
actually think the
things.
reason why he's suing is because Gawker got it out to so many people. If it would have been just like you said, your example of you publishing a tape of Jack, no one would care because Buddy Enterprises is not going to get millions of views. Gawker is going to get millions of people to see Hulkamania coming down on Heather Clem. So, of course...
That was just amazing.
What?
And we can't play the audio?
We
can't play the audio?
Well, what I want to do now is I kind of want to get the video and then play his theme music to it.
Oh, my
And see how
that's even better.
see how it comes down.
It's like what?
I am a real American. Anyways,
That's so great.
that brings us to the end of this podcast.
On that note.
Sad day.
I'm surprised we didn't have that audio ready to go, like the Hulk Hogan theme music, buddy. You're completely slacking.
God, I didn't even think about it. Oh.
It happens.
It happens. Anyways, brings us to the end of the podcast. Like to thank the guys in studio, Buddy, Frank, Sean, and Jack. Thank you guys for spending another Friday night with me. This podcast can be heard on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We ask that you like us, you share us, you subscribe to us. We appreciate all the amazing feedback. As I said at the beginning of this podcast, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Let's see what else. Like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Go Spurs Go Memes is everywhere. We appreciate the support everywhere.
Oh, hey, I found it.
I forgot that this music starts so slow.
Oh, it's so great.
Because I think
I'm a little confused by this beginning.
No, that's how it starts. And then for your life. Here we go. There you go.
Yeah, that's what we needed right there.
I need some yellow and red streamers going up right now. It's so great.
You know what would be great is if in that video he comes out just comes out of a door and starts ripping his shirt off. And do you think
Maybe
he was
what
wearing?
happened.
Do you think he was wearing those big yellow boots too? You know.
Yes. Oh, God, that's so disgusting and funny at the same time. I can just even imagine this music just keep going the whole time.
Well, yeah. I wonder how long the video actually was. Because what did you say, Jack? It was only played like a minute and a.
It was only 4 minutes, I think, wasn't it? Something like that.
There's a 7-minute version somewhere from what I've heard.
There's a 7.
God, you should see the
It did
images
say there
I'm
was
seeing
only
right now.
9 seconds of actual sexual activity.
Hey, how much Hulk can she handle? That's what I'm saying. So much Hulk.
Anyways, thanks so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode, and next week opens up Batman versus Superman. By that time, we'll probably have already seen it,
I wonder what
and
we'll talk about next week.
it exactly. And of course, this will be after the Spurs play the Warriors tomorrow night.
And the Sweet 16.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sweet 16. Yes.
Big stuff.
Good point, Jack. All right, guys. Thanks so much. As always, go Spurs, go. We'll see you next week.
Ooh, Heather, what are you doing? Oh, brother. Oh, yeah, Mean Gene. Oh, brother. Grill him out soon. Brother, leg drop. 1, 2, 3. Give me the strap.